And that was shown in the latest Des Moines Register poll, which shows former President Donald Trump with an overwhelming lead, with Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis fighting for a very distant second place.
Oh my God. I have a couple thoughts on this. Number one, Ramaswamy on top. I think Ramaswamy is performing better on internal polls than we recognize, because Donald Trump was actually shitting on him. And I find that very interesting. Day one, I find that very interesting. All of a sudden, the big guy's coming after me after I've defended him vociferously, folks. The reason why he's coming after me is because I have a hot wife. That's right. I've said it. That's right. Day one. Day one, my hot wife becomes first lady, and everybody knows it, and Donald Trump is threatened. Donald Trump, who I love bigly, who is one of the greatest presidents of all time, is afraid of my throat surgeon, throat goat wife. That's right. Way hotter than Melania, and he's afraid of it. Is there anyone on that list that Biden can win against? Probably Ramaswamy, because there ain't no way that enough Republicans are going to vote for like a openly brown dude. Like Nikki Haley, they might vote for, even though she's a woman, but she's like white enough that many people don't know that she's actually Indian. But Ramaswamy's last name is Ramaswamy. There ain't no freaking way. Dude, I've been telling you guys since day one. I've been telling you. No Republican is going to vote for a guy whose last name is Ramaswamy. It's not happening. No way, no how, folks. Imagine many people came up to me and said, oh, what if Ramaswamy is the VP? He's angling for a VP, folks. I said, you think it's going to be Trump Ramaswamy on that billboard, on that placard? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The Republican Party is far too racist to have such an ethnic last name on the placard. It's not happening, folks. I was at the Fox News studio in Des Moines this morning, and I noticed something interesting. They forgot one candidate tonight. I'll trust them to fix it. Yeah, remember when I told you guys that they were going to say, like, we don't believe you? Like, what God do you believe? You know, this is a question that's going to come up. Ramaswamy's wife asked voters what they're hearing about why they're not supporting Vivek. One response, I couldn't even remember who said it to me, but they mentioned his dark skin and they think he's Muslim. Remember when I said exactly those words? When people were like, oh, Ramaswamy, he's like popping off. And I was like, dog, this is going to be the most prevailing Republican attitude. Americans don't know what the fuck Indians are. Literally, we called Native Americans Indian, dog. Americans don't even have that concept in their minds. Like, they don't have a way of understanding, like, what Ramaswamy is. They look at him and they go, oh, he loves Allah Akbar. Am I right? That's right, brother. Get the fuck out of here. They think he's a terrorist. A Muslim terrorist. They have no way of knowing that he's actually Indian and hates Muslims, right? Like, they don't know that. They don't get it.
And Donald Trump is the early leader in the Iowa Republican caucuses based on our entrance poll of caucus goers. And our entrance poll shows Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley are in a tense fight for second place. Remember, this is all based on early results.
This is my favorite projection, when there's like 8 people that voted and they immediately are like, well, this spells trouble for Ron DeSantis.
The ultimate.
I think it's pretty funny that they, like, one, cultivated this like false notion. Like, they completely created a new identity. The idea that, like, Trump might be, Trump might be having a hard time. Nikki Haley sure is doing well, like, blah, blah, blah. And now they're just like, well, it's not shocking that Trump is winning.
Listening to these exit polls and hearing what David Chalian has to say, what becomes clear to me is this really is Donald Trump's party. I was talking to one of his top campaign operatives this afternoon, and he pointed out to me that the networks, cable news, I don't know who did it first, called the race for Ted Cruz in 2016 at 9:16 p.m. Central Time, 10:16 on the East Coast. And he said, you know, we think that in the 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, that somebody is going to be calling this race for Donald Trump. And when I talked to him about how big the victory is going to be, and they're not sure about 50% or not, the most that anybody has ever gotten in a contested Republican primary in Iowa, or in a caucuses, is 41% by George W. Bush in 2000. They say we'll absolutely beat that. The biggest margin between the first and second place is 12.8% by Bob Dole in 1988, and they said we're going to crush that. So we don't know the numbers. We don't know what the margin's going to be, but they say it'll be over 41%. It'll be well over a dozen.
That's why claiming anything short of 50% is like a loss for Trump is ridiculous.
Okay,
Chris
so
Wallace did a
under
good
50%
job
for
of
Trump.
describing
You really
exactly
hear from
what
people, and there is
historically
obviously
this
a huge
means.
segment of-
Anyone
they'll
saying
point out,
that
well,
like
if he's
Trump
under 50%, that means
performing
that 1 in
under
2
50% is a
Republican
loss is
voters want
ridiculous.
someone-
Yeah, Trump didn't win this in 2016 because he was an outsider. It doesn't mean anything in 2016, but now obviously Trump is not going to lose the Iowa caucus. If he lost the Iowa caucus, that would be a problem because Trump is not an outsider now. He was the president.
Listen,
Then we looked at the white evangelical vote. John King was just talking about this with Jake. It makes up about 51%, about half the electorate say they're white evangelical. That's actually a little bit down from what we saw 8 years ago as an overall share. But look at this, guys. 55% of white evangelical voters are voting for Donald Trump, according to these entrance polls.
It's so funny because a major evangelical church backed, like the leader of the evangelicals in Iowa backed DeSantis publicly, and he still barely captured 24%.
Down at 8%.
That's so sad. I mean, listen, why would you vote for Ron DeSantis? You know what I mean? He's literally Catholic. If you're an evangelical and you vote for a Catholic, you're just so cucked. He's Italian, which to an Iowan is like basically the closest you're going to get to an ethnic person. You know what I mean? He's Catholic, he's Italian, no shot.
And we just spoke with her team just a short time ago, and they were telling us they don't actually feel pressure here tonight. They think the pressure is really much more on former President Trump to perform up to what those polls are, and Ron DeSantis, because he put all of his eggs.
Yeah, sure, dude. No, definitely. They're like, dude, I love being in second place. Many are saying second place is the first place. Folks, I'm getting reports that first place ain't shit, and being in second place is actually more favorable of a position than being in first place. That's what they're saying. Believe me, folks. it's over, boys. Damn, that was quick. Forecasting for the second place. Oh my God, what is happening with the needle? We're keeping track of each candidate's chance of being the runner-up in Iowa. They busted out the needle for second place. God, what a loser party this is. Remember, a huge chunk of Nikki Haley's voters in Iowa caucus tonight are actually Democrats. This psyop failed. Okay, as much as I like making fun of DC Drano, who's a dumbass, he's not wrong, except not for the reasons that he thinks he's right. It's kind of true. It's like it's not wrong, except like those guys are unironically like, no, I like Nikki Haley. Does that make sense? Like, it's not a psyop. It's just that CNN is just like hamming up Nikki Haley way too much. So is New York Times. So is everybody else. I don't think it's like people deliberately going out in minus 40-degree weather to do a psyop. Ron is already mad at the media. Absolutely outrageous. This is the DeSantis campaign saying, absolutely outrageous the media would participate in election interference by calling the race before tens of thousands of Iowans even had a chance to vote. The media is in the tank for Trump, and this is the most egregious example yet. Oh, no. Oh, no, dude. No. If you're in line to caucus for Asa Hutchinson, stay in line. Stay in line, folks. It's gonna happen. Aza's winning. We believe. Asa Hutchinson won 100% of the counties. Let's see what Benny Boy had to say about tonight's results.
I, Ben Shapiro, hypothetically, have peed in my diapers. Now, of course, my diapers are tiny. They're baby diapers. That's the only type of diaper that actually fits me. However, I have the amount of piss in my body of an adult male, which means that I actually filled my baby diapers. And now, my baby diapers are actually spilling into my khakis. That's right. This is the analysis from tonight's primaries. Hypothetically, what if you were to piss in your diapers? Nobody would laugh at that. Everyone would think that's a full-grown adult pissing in their diapers like a baby.
That's cool, man. I can't believe Ben said all that. That's fire. Grow up. No.
But bottom line is they were doing that based on the entrance polling data. Donald Trump is way out ahead. Donald Trump is so far out ahead that the rest of the field can't even see him. This is Secretariat against the rest of the field in the 1973 Belmont Stakes. What does that mean going forward? It means that de facto Trump is the nominee. If no one could challenge him in Iowa, if nobody really has a chance of challenging him based on that momentum going into New Hampshire, if nobody has a challenge for him in South Carolina, then all you can say at this point is that he is preparing for the general election against Joe Biden. And we're already there. Maybe it was always going to be this way. After all, he's been treated by the Republican electorate as the incumbent president. And he's been treated that way because that's how they think of him. Many Republicans think, by the way, that he won the last election against Joe Biden, rightly or wrongly.
That's so wild. Ben needs to be like the smart guy, right? So, I mean, he knows Donald Trump didn't win. Interesting times for someone like Ben Shapiro. You know, that's why he has to say rightly or wrongly. No, he didn't win, dog. You know that. What do you mean? Vivek didn't do so bad for a suspected terrorist. I know. Listen, guys, what we also have to remember is how big this is for Islam rising in America. That's right. Sharia won tonight, folks. Iowa, with a whopping 94% white demographic, the Iowa Republican Party has chosen Sharia by 7.7%, despite the fact that his people have caused 9/11. Iowan Republicans have decided to vote for a man who is restoring the caliphate in America, county by county. Why is CNN pretending that Trump isn't going to be the Republican nominee? Content. They have to, because this is otherwise a very boring primary season. And it really is. That's why. I mean, look at this. Look, dude. This is the first primary of the fucking year, dog. The first primary of the year. And there's only 6,000 people watching NBC News' coverage of it. And like, I'm doing my very best to spice it up, but it's so bad. It's lame. By him. Here's my predictions, okay? New Hampshire polls. Let's pull them up real quick. So New Hampshire is actually interesting. It's coming up. New Hampshire is coming up, folks. The New Hampshire primary, okay? That's right. The Republican Party New Hampshire primaries is going to be coming up on January 23rd, okay? It's a Tuesday, okay? New Hampshire is interesting. Why is it interesting? Well, because New Hampshire is a weirdo state, right? I've said this before. It's like northeastern Arizona. They got like a lot of sovereign citizens there. They're very fucking weird. They're very libertarian. It's the freak state. All right, let's take a look at the polls here in New Hampshire for the Republican presidential primary. Now, obviously, Trump is ahead in the primaries there. However, having said that, Haley has gained a tremendous amount of pickup there, and according to some polls, is within striking distance, within single digits. That's a big deal. The fact that Haley is doing fairly well in Iowa as well definitely shows that she's gonna do well. Now, two things can happen here. New Hampshire, freak state, okay? A lot of weirdos. Let's say Nikki Haley wins New Hampshire. I suspect if that is the case, they're going to try to Super Tuesday Donald Trump in the same way that the media did with Bernie Sanders, against Bernie Sanders, when they were like, oh my God, what an unimaginable victory in South Carolina for Joe Biden. Nobody thought this was going to happen. The real underdog story. Now, this can only work if you already propped up Joe Biden, which the media did. And this only works if the media propped up Nikki Haley, which they also did. So if New Hampshire picks Nikki Haley, thank you, Dolby Lana, for that one, the media will try to make it seem as though this is an unimaginable dub for her, despite the fact that in every other fucking state, Donald Trump is performing very well and running the table. I think that there's two outcomes here. Either Donald Trump wins with a narrow margin, but wins nonetheless, and then it's over. It's Joe from there on. The Trump momentum is unstoppable. Okay, Ron DeSantis drops out regardless. Nikki Haley will crush the opposition in New Hampshire, obviously, with the incredible amount of momentum and support that she got from Cristobal Christie. I'm just kidding about that part. But I think that it's over after New Hampshire. Now, what is really devastating, what is really scary, and what is really devastating is that Donald Trump knows how to read the room like a motherfucker. If he brings on board a Nikki Haley type, if not Nikki Haley herself, even though the VP is supposed to bring in a state and South Carolina is already locked in, if Donald Trump brings in Nikki Haley on the board, that all of a sudden turns into a genuinely scary prospect for the branding camp. Because Nikki Haley herself, no, Nikki is not the Republican Kamala. Nikki has captivated the Democratic Party media apparatus entirely. Donald Trump doesn't need a powerful VP. Mike Pence was the VP of Donald Trump, if you guys recall. So the fact that she brings in like a moderate liberal would cause every single person who, by the way, Nikki Haley is literally currently, according to polls, 9 points ahead of Biden. 9 points. Biden performs worse against Nikki Haley. The media loves her. She is telegenic. She is charismatic. Definitely much more charismatic than Kamala Harris. If Trump brings on board Nikki Haley after New Hampshire, or whenever he announces for VP, and the media has already propped her up as this like reasonable person, okay? Now you have two people that are at least trying to solve the abortion problem on a messaging front. One person that is a moderate, the media starts writing articles about how like Nikki Haley might actually be the promise that we needed to like make Donald Trump more reasonable. Could Donald Trump become more reasonable with Nikki Haley by his side? Is a powerful woman exactly what Donald Trump needed for new momentum? And then we're fucking cooked. It's off to the races from that point on. Anyway, I don't think Republicans would vote for a woman though. Nah, the VP doesn't matter. Did you actually review the new poll? ABC poll is devastating. Iowa ahead. Trump tops his opponents while Biden hits a new low in approval. Yes, Biden has hit a historic low in approval. To get you to understand how bad the situation is for Biden at 33%, Donald Trump, after January 6th, was polling at 34%. Joe Brandon's approval rating is worse than Donald Trump after January 6th, when he was like refusing to back down, refusing to admit that he lost, and was utilizing the lame duck period to fucking complain nonstop and did a literal insurrection. And even then, Joe Biden is now less popular than Trump was back then. It's lower than any president at this moment in their presidency. It's bad. It's really, really good stuff overall. He's like Bush after the Iraq war and the economy crashed. Yeah. What do Democrats do here? They need to swap him out. If they swap him out this late into the game, then that signals instability in the party. It's going to be hard to prop up someone. Yeah, presidential approval ratings were only this low. Brandon is lower than the lowest point of George W. Bush's president, or not the lowest point, but like, look at this. George W. Bush at this point is at 34%. His first term average is at 49. Second term average was at 37%. High point 90, obviously, September 21st, right after 9/11. And his lowest point being 25%. God damn, dude. Jesus Christ is so unimaginably cooked. That's his second term, dog. Brandon is so fucked, it's over. Yeah. No, Brandon is definitely fucked. Now, obviously, still far out. Things can change. Remember, last election cycle, COVID still hadn't popped off at this point. I know I repeat myself all the time, but who knows? This year's COVID, in my opinion, is Donald Trump's many different legal battles. Having said that, however, the legal battles do have the tendency to galvanize the base, especially because plenty of people have very openly stated time and time again to 80% of the party in the entrance polls have said that they would still vote for Donald Trump even if he was convicted of a crime. Ramaswamy is about to speak, ending his campaign. No, folks, it's happening. Oh no, Ramaswamy is about to end his campaign. That's right, folks.
Orders. Kylie, what are you
coming down
hearing?
To a thunderous applause? So proud of our team. Press conference at 10:15 at Surety Hotel in Des Moines. Will live stream on X. God, he's going out like a fucking loser, dude. It's awesome. Oh my God. It's so funny. Just like he's going out the same way that Ron DeSantis came in on a dying platform. Ramaswamy told staff in a private meeting he will endorse Trump on stage. Oh, come on. Why are you guys breaking this? I was waiting. I was waiting to see who he was going to endorse. This was going to be interesting. You're spoiling it. Vivek is going to get a Trump cabinet job for sure. No, he's not. I said this already. I don't think Vivek is going to get a Trump cabinet position. I don't. I think you guys are wrong. There are at least 100 other billionaire donor-backed psychopathic predators that are, in Trump's eyes, way more deserving of agency positions than Vivek Ramaswamy. No, he's not going to get a Mayor Pete spot. He's not. I don't think Trump is going to give him something. If he does give him something, he's going to literally give him like an ambassadorship to a place that nobody cares about. There is no shot, not even India, okay? He's not going to be ambassador to India. That's a position reserved for people who have put their time in the party. No, he's going to be the ambassador to Seychelles, okay?